Good morning, precious. There's people here. How you doing, baby? Happy Friday. And today on Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. When you get a minute, go to that YouTube channel, Shakenya, and hit subscribe. Look at some of the videos. And if you see something that you like, just hit share. So guys, no questions. Another manipulation technique. I know y'all tired of them, ain't you? I told you, they don't never stop. They get more aggressive. If you think about it, think about how we started off real subtle, and not how we just rose to the occasion with these manipulation techniques. They're getting more and more aggressive, aren't they? Yep. Because they got to keep that wall built. They got to keep that wall built between you and your baby. They got to reinforce it every now and then. So sometimes they do some of the old manipulation techniques and bring them back. Yeah. So I'm going to give y'all one. And I had to make up a name for it. I didn't know what to call it. Because, you know, a lot of this stuff is just proven fact. Because I'm a professional. So I'll be trying to come up with these names so that, you know, best fit whatever it is I'm trying to get across to y'all, right? So let me see. Since the breakup, do you sometimes feel like you still in that relationship? I know your baby look like his daddy and your little girl look like her mama, yeah. But do they remind you of them? Like, how can I put this? Like all the stuff that used to get on your nerves. Let's just say when you look at your baby, do it remind you of your baby mama, your baby daddy? Like it seems like they doing all the stuff that used to get on your nerves or bother you or get up on your... I call it the mirroring effect. That's a manipulation technique. Yeah, I'll explain. I'll explain. I want to see if I can give you an example. Like, let me see. When your ex is usually when that bothers you, okay. When they associate, when it bothers you, little stuff that they do that bothered you in the relationship, and when they associate the issues that they had with you onto that child. Let's go. You ready? You ready for this ride? One thing I hated in the relationship was my ex would always wait until the last minute to tell me about some of the most important things, to where I would always be scrambling to make it happen. And it could be anything. And I'm not going to give you too many examples. Just anything you can think of in the mirror that something might be going on. It could be a doctor's appointment. It could be the baby got something going on, an event. Whatever it was, the communication was not good. Okay? And it would always be told to me at the last minute. It made me feel as if he got off on seeing me being overwhelmed. Hey, baby. And then it seemed like he got satisfaction of seeing me being overwhelmed and scrambling, but yet and still pulling off the task. That's why I'm so good right now at everything. I gotta thank him for that, yeah. Because there used to be so much pressure put upon me to do certain things, always at the last minute. So I would always ask, baby, can you just give me the heads up? Stop waiting till the last minute. I got other children here. I had about 4 or 5 kids at the time. I had work. I was in school. So a lot of stuff, you got to have balance when you're doing so many things, a multitude of things. I've always been a what they say, jack of all trades, master of none. So I've always been versed in so many different things. Yeah. Ever since I was a kid, my grandma used to fix stuff. My grandma used to fix on cars. My grandma used to fix stuff that breaks around the house. I am the spitting image of my grandma. And she also cooked and cleaned and did all domesticated stuff around the house. So I am the spitting image of Eva Curitan. Yes, I am. So when you got a lot of stuff going on, you gotta balance it out. Time management is at the all-time high. You know, I had both kids. All my kids was involved in after school. You know, you just can't wait until the last minute. So he would wait until the last minute. So the baby would do that from time to time. I used to constantly, like, remember when I told you how you have to, when you're sharing the baby with somebody, and sometimes you got to reprogram your baby. It's not always behavioral issues or reasons that you have to reprogram that baby. It's not always because you got to tell them 2 or 3 times to do the chores. It don't be that sometimes. Mine was always reminding her of little things like that. Stop waiting till the last minute to tell me stuff. You're not going to tell me the day of that you need $200 to do this or do that. You're not going to tell me the day of that you... Because she was a fairly good kid. Yeah, so a couple little quirks, but that was one of them. Happened to remind her that mama needs the heads up. You ain't the only child. The other kids have financial obligations as well. Certain things I have to budget out. Certain things I got to hustle up on. Certain things I do. So if you give me a couple days and say you need this, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to get it. If I don't already have it, right? Give me that solid. But don't wait until the day of and expect me to be, especially after I've told you, don't do that, right? Yeah. One day I told her, remind me of your daddy. Sometimes I feel like I'm still married. And I laughed it off. That was about the meanest thing I could ever say. I had to go back and apologize to her. I had to play the apology game at some point. Because once I thought about what I had just said, even though I said it with a smile, that was quite cruel and mean. Because her dad was horrible. And it was a horrible marriage. He was a bad man. So I shouldn't have said that. But I did at the time because it made me feel that way. Because it was like a mirror. Some of the same things that I used to tell him not to do, I'm telling her. That's a manipulation technique. That means somebody is allowing her to do that. Somebody is either allowing her to do it over there, or somebody is telling her not to tell me nothing. Somebody is telling her to tell me at the last minute. Yeah, it was like as she got older, it seemed like in our communication, because that's one thing that I tell y'all that I brought from my child and my upbringing. Remember how we talked about the things that people did for you when you were growing up in your upbringing? How much of that have you adapted into your parenting style right now? How much did you take away? How much did you add to? So one thing that I adapted from my mom was communication. She always made me feel comfortable to talk to her about anything. All my children talk to me about anything. Hey Casey, how you doing, boo? All my kids feel comfortable. We talk about sex, we talk about relationships, we talk about health, we talk about mental health, we talk. The baby, the older she got, it seemed like I would have to pull from her versus her just getting in, usually talking to me, which lets me know somebody must be telling her not to tell me stuff, right? So it got to a point where I'm pulling teeth, asking questions to find out what's going on. So some days she'll feel comfortable talking to you, and some days I feel like I'm pulling teeth. That's the same thing I went through with her dad. It was like pulling teeth to talk to him about stuff. It was like I would come in, hey, how your day going? Nothing, it was all right. As soon as I opened up my book to start school or do something important, then he wanted to come and talk to me about his day and stuff like that. So it was certain things that she did that mirrored that marriage that wasn't, which I know I know now that it's a manipulation technique. But that, the same thing, I'm trying to stay on task, people. I'd be running around. Okay, her dad did that. Seeing me overwhelmed. Talking to her was like pulling teeth. I had to reprogram her that I'm your mom. You can trust me. and you can talk to me about anything, right? And I made a point to reassure her by allowing her to sit in on certain conversations with the other children, as long as it was age appropriate. Yeah. Just to give her that extra, it's okay. I'm your mom, right? So I should have known right then that some shit was going on. Oh, Fix It Jesus, a Christian show. That something wasn't right. Yeah, somebody was telling her not to tell me stuff. Ain't that crazy? And you can tell because, and this is how this is, when I do my clues, and I know I'm rambling, y'all, but I'm not really. Remember how I told y'all how y'all put your clues together? All of my other children talks to me freely, like they always have. But it was a time before she stayed with her dad that she was like kind of slowing down and breaking down. Let me tell you, one day we had a heart-to-heart to find out what is this? What is the reason for this? Because you got to keep in mind, I said my other three children, one of them kids is my little brother. Meaning that's not my biological son. Meaning that if he talks to me, that means whatever I instilled or whatever technique I used, it was universal, right? Baby should have been a part of that. What was different from the baby and the other children? Her daddy and his people. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. That's how you can narrow down when you're putting together your clues and you're formulating your questions. That's one that you can put on there that'll gear you towards somebody is saying something different than what you're saying. Yeah, so the only thing I can think of is if I'm telling her to talk to me and it's okay to communicate with me, it's okay to tell me anything, somebody is on the other side telling her something completely different. Don't talk to her. Don't trust her. Don't tell her nothing. Yeah, but the dad was like that, so that it's a mirroring effect, and it was another component that I wanted to bring out of that as well. The reprogramming part, remember I told you it's not always behavioral. That was one I had to constantly tell her how she can trust me and she can talk to me. For her to start back talking. But it seemed like every time she came back from her dad's house, I would have to have that conversation with her. And I'll say by Tuesday, picking her up from school, it'll go back to her just getting in, feeling comfortable talking to me about her day, and I wouldn't have to do no interrogation, no, I wouldn't have to pull teeth. But come Monday, it's like she different when she come from there, right? But yeah, come Wednesday, she be back to that chipper, happy child that she was, and everything will be good back until Monday when I picked her up from school from being over there on the weekend. Yeah, let me see. I think that was it, y'all. That's the mirroring effect. If you feel like you're still involved with your ex and you feel that a lot of the stuff that's being portrayed is the things that bothered you and annoyed you, they probably do. And I guarantee you that that baby mama or that baby daddy is having that baby do that. Yeah, I know. Ain't it terrible? People go through great lengths when they hurt, scorn, haven't healed and gotten over the relationship, and they hadn't gotten over you. Fix it, Jesus. Especially if you was the best thing that ever happened to them. Some people never get over that. Yeah, when you take people for granted and you use people and you do things and you can't get them back. Like he cheated and he was abusive. So I would never. Yeah, somebody hit you once, they'll hit you again, ladies. Trust and believe that one. Somebody told me that at a young age. Yeah, so never stay in a domestic violence situation. So, yeah, guys, the mirroring effect. That's another manipulation technique. And I'm out.